on how our viewing habits have changed since we've been quarantined, since we've had the stay-at-home order. I think you'll find those interesting. Next, we'll show some real-life examples of advisors who are capturing leads and increasing engagement through the use of visuals in their marketing efforts. So Samantha is going to walk you through a ton of great examples that she's seen with advisor websites and through 20/10 in their efforts there. Next, we'll jump into the benefits of using visual-based platforms and how they make it easier for you and your clients to understand complex financial topics. And then finally, hopefully we have some time for Q&A with all these technical difficulties, but we'll jump in. Feel free to throw any questions you have in the Q&A or the chat feature. Hopefully that's working. We'll make sure to answer your questions during that portion. If we don't get to your question, we'll make sure to answer it in a follow-up. So that's the agenda. Let's get started. Again, before we jump into these marketing specific stats and industry stats, I thought it would be kind of timely to share some charts of the way the current pandemic has changed our viewing habits. Obviously, because it will most likely have an impact on the channels and the ways you communicate to your prospects and your clients moving to the future. So, personally, I think some things are definitely going to change once we no longer have these stay-at-home quarantine orders. So this one may come as a bit of surprise here. So people have actually begun embracing the desktop experience again, which is interesting. So now that we are spending our days at home, our computers are close at hand, we've started using apps on our desktop instead of our phone. Apps haven't really decreased significantly, as you can see in these charts on the right, but they've definitely plateaued at least. Probably due to the lack of people traveling, people aren't in airports, hotels, they're all in their homes right now. So one thing I want to point out is the Facebook chart. So, there's been a pretty significant rise on both websites and apps. So I think this serves as kind of a good reminder to make sure that the content you're posting to your Facebook business pages, so if you have a firm page through Facebook or a business page, make sure that they are both, the content you're providing is optimized for both mobile and desktop. So just leave you with that on that slide. And these charts should not be so surprising. So Zoom, obviously, other remote working apps like Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, they've skyrocketed in use. As we've been quarantined in our homes, we've turned to different applications to connect with family, to connect with friends, and obviously right now we're connecting with coworkers, colleagues, in industry experts and stuff like that. So personally, outside of being on Zoom every day for work, I have weekly Zoom happy hours, Zoom trivia we've done, and then actually this Sunday, we're doing a Zoom meeting for Mother's Day. So we have that set up with the whole family, my mom, my grandmom, so that should definitely be interesting. But the main takeaway, I think, from this is if you plan on sharing something on your screen, whether that's for work or with your family, what you want to do is make sure it's visual, it gets across quickly. Ideally, it's on one page so you're not constantly moving things around that you're sharing. So this is a bit of a rhetorical question. So why use visuals in your marketing strategy? It's rhetorical because I think we can all agree that visuals in general are more enjoyable to view than reading a paragraph or a small page of text. So whether it's a video on your website or an infographic you share on your social channels, people connect with visuals on a much different level. So before we dive into actual examples of how financial advisors are benefiting from the use of visuals through their online marketing efforts, what I quickly want to do is provide kind of this 30,000-foot view of the impact visuals have had, recently on marketing. Oops, sorry, wrong slide. Moving forward. Hopefully these aren't too hard to see. So on the left is a chart from 2014. On the right is a more recent version of the same chart from late 2018 on how Americans consume media. So there's a reason you hear more and more about video marketing, and that's because it works. So because adults across the world, especially in the US, are spending more and more time with media every day, it's pretty wild how drastic our viewing habits have changed. Looking at the chart in 2014, obviously, again, represented on the left versus 2018, and even more so now in 2020, you see live TV consumption is down. It continues to go down. We're streaming more, obviously. While you can see other types of media consumption, podcast listening, that's not visual, but that's definitely a newer medium of communication. You see YouTube streaming consistently on the rise. Here's some interesting facts. So the average adult in the US now spends over 10+ hours per day on media consumption, which is pretty crazy when you take a step back and realize, that's a ton of time. That means if you are getting 8 hours of sleep every night, you're awake for 16 hours per day, 10 or 11 of those 16 hours, you are actually consuming media, which is pretty crazy. And everyone is consuming media. So this is all basically to say, you need to meet your clients and they are, which is online. So a lot of the promotional materials you may have seen, we both 20/10 and AssetMap have been sharing a ton of social posts, a ton of blog posts. And what we've been mentioning is this research regarding the brain processing imagery 60,000 times faster than text. But actually, Samantha pointed this out as we were preparing for this webinar, that there's been even some more recent research that shows that our brain only needs 1/10 of a second to understand an image, compared to it takes us an average of 60 seconds to read 200 words. Again, that's pretty crazy to think about. So if you just take a glance at these two side-by-side examples of advisor websites, you can see kind of a positive difference looking at the one on the right compared to the left. So the people who visit your website, the people who read your emails or download the content, you want to provide a great user experience that starts with visuals. And as we've grown used to being able to find our answers to our questions instantly online within seconds, we're constantly consuming so much digital content that we've changed our viewing habits and the way we actually process and retain information. In fact, after around 3 days, people can recall 65% of the visual content they encounter versus they can only recall 10% of the textual content that they read. So back to these two website examples. I'm personally much more likely to remember the firm on the right's value prop. Why do it yourself when we could hire Alton Wealth Management? They act as a household CFO, a CPA attorney. They have all those resources at my discretion if I choose to do business with them. So I can clearly remember that compared to the wall of text on the left of on an advisor's website. So if you want your message to get across, you need to make it as easy as possible to digest, and visuals are where you should turn for help there. More stats. I'll go through these quickly, but all these pretty much align with our main message today, that providing visual content is crucial for your business now and moving into the future, obviously. So, quickly, I'll run through these, but remember the core message for future slides that you'll see in this webinar. So video usage on mobile has increased by nearly 10 million daily viewing minutes in the last 2 years. So that's a ton of new and increased viewing minutes. YouTube is consumers' leading source of video content at 83%, while Facebook is second at 67%. And another quick fun fact here, YouTube is actually the second largest search engine behind Google. So if you think about your own search habits, you're probably on YouTube or Google that sends you to YouTube, searching for how-to videos on, how to install garbage disposal, or, kind of a timely example is how to make a face mask. And then lastly here, Cisco, the company, projects that global internet traffic from videos will make up 82% of all consumer internet traffic by 2021. So again, that's a ton of internet traffic coming in just a year. Say no more, I've got some more stats, but this time around I have some practical suggestions for incorporating these into your marketing efforts, into what you're doing to promote your business. So starting from the top left, tweets with images received 150% more retweets. That number can kind of sound meaningless without any context there, but in most cases that I've seen, managing social media accounts for eMoney Advisor and now at AssetMap, so including native images and video does wonders for engagement numbers. And what I mean by native images and videos is so actually uploading the JPEG file or for an image, or an MP4 if the video, to the social media channels directly. So when you're adding a picture or video, you want to, if it's not too large of a file, you can add it straight to the social media channel, and you should see a ton of engagement there. Next, at the bottom left, including the word video in your subject lines can increase open rates by 19% and actually increase click-through rates by 65%. So if you're sharing a video through email, say you have a newsletter on an ongoing basis, make sure to include that word in your subject line if you're sharing a video. I've actually seen a similar pattern as with social media. So if you include video in the text of your post, that post tends to see more engagement there. Top right, so infographics. They are liked, shared, and commented on 3 times more on social media than any other type of content. So what I recommend, and what this example was created by, was a website called Canva. So that's canva.com. It's a free tool, and what you can do is go to it. They have a bunch of custom templates for infographics that you can customize using your logo. You can rearrange the stats and the shapes. Again, I recommend a limited amount of text just to make sure that the visual piece is front and center. And then this last one can apply to both your internal and external communication. So providing directions with text and illustrations performs 323% better than just text. You see it all the time with online tutorials. So a simple screenshot with a sentence or two of text does wonders for helping people process kind of the multiple steps that they need to take to complete a task, whether that's a simple task or kind of a more complex task. And real quick, so our head of customer success, Michael Schwab, he does an awesome job of doing this. So what he does is, so in this example, we just made some quick keyboard shortcuts for the markers, feature in AssetMap. So what he does is incorporate screenshots, a short amount of text to our support center. It helps our users quickly and easily perform actions they set out to learn more about. Sometimes, so he also does for some more, complex, long-winded processes. What he does is uploads a video to Vimeo that shows him providing kind of these in-app tutorials that are that users can easily follow along with. And I'll pass it off to Samantha now.
Okay, can you still hear me okay, TJ?
I can, yes.
Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure before I jump in. Again, sorry for everyone who's still having trouble hearing us. So let's talk about some examples. Thankfully, this is a very visual presentation, so you're going to get a lot of the nuts and bolts of it, even if you can't hear us very well. But let's just talk about different places that we suggest you use visuals and different ways you might think about it. So if you recall on an earlier slide, TJ had shown the difference between a wall of text on a website versus a website that had used visuals. You might not have the budget right now to hire someone to create a bunch of different graphics for you, and that's fine. You can even think about how you create your website so that it's easy to what we call scroll and scan. We are in the scroll and scan age of how we interact online, right? We've been conditioned to just scroll until we see something that catches our eye, and then we stop and we pay attention to it. So this example from Wealth Keel, Chad Chubb, an advisor in Philly who works with physicians, you know, he has this part of his website, Why Physicians, and you can easily scan it with your eye and get the, you know, gist of the message in just a couple seconds without reading a wall of text. And that's because of the way it's been styled in multiple columns with icons, right? People love this. It completely resonates so much quicker than having to read paragraphs of text. So think about how you can set up your own website to make it very easy for someone to get the gist of what it is you do very, very quickly. The main page of your website should be a problem solution method, is what we call it. So what is the problem that most of your clients have? And what is the solution that you provide? And visuals go a long way to reinforce what that solution is. So here you're, you know, just with a quick glance, able to see that he is providing help to physicians who are trying to balance dealing with medical contracts, saving for education, paying down debt, buying their first house, all while getting their large paychecks for the first time. Okay, next page. This is another example from a website that 20 over 10 is also working on. So the last one was a site we'd worked on, and this one isn't live yet, but I snuck a screenshot of it just for this presentation. So this is a firm that's based in Atlanta, but they have been a virtual practice for years, and they really wanted to hammer home to people visiting their site that they're not location specific, that they work with clients anywhere. But rather than go into, you know, again, a whole written paragraph about the fact that, you know, there is clients all over the country and that they have the digital tools that they can use to work with them, they just put a visual up. And they said, we're based in Atlanta, but we use technology to work with clients all over the country, right? Boom, boom, boom. You look at this map and you easily understand, okay, yeah, I don't have to be based in Atlanta to work with them. Again, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay, next slide. So I just wanted to point out that you don't always need to have one visual either that you use for just one, you know, social media post or one website blog. If you get a really great visual, use it across many different areas, right? So here is a great chart. I actually still to this day don't know where this chart came from. So if anybody knows exactly, someone told me they think it's from Dimensional Funds. I saw it on the internet somewhere in another blog post, I think from Ritz-Holt Wealth Management. But the original point of the chart is just to help clients visualize the difference between bull and bear markets, and how when we're in a bear market, it can be really scary and feel very overwhelming and we don't know where the bottom is going to fall. But that a chart like this can help investors to understand that historically, bear markets are always followed by periods of robust growth, right? You can say over and over again that this is what happens, or you can just show it to them. This could be something you use in a blog post. You could put it on social media as a standalone, you know, just a LinkedIn post. You could put it in an email to clients. So if you find a really great visual or you have a great visual, use it many different ways. And everybody is saying it is from Dimensional Fund. So thank you. I can go back and give them credit where credit is due. Okay, next slide. Thank you. So again, once you get a great visual, or if you created video, think about different ways you can use it. So here's a snapshot of a video that's available in the Lead Pilot library. So for those firms that are using 20 over 10's new marketing tool, which is called Lead Pilot, we also offer videos, infographics in our library. So this is an example. This is a quick minute-long video that you can post on social media. But let's say you have a blog post that you want to write about mistakes that people are making in pre-retirement. You could put this video with it, right? Repurpose the content. So use that one visual across all of your various channels to reiterate a message. I think a lot of times many advisors think, well, hey, I posted that on social media last week, so I don't want to say anything about it again. To TJ's point, you have to hammer home messaging over and over and over again in order for people to get it, because we're getting so many messages all of the time. So for instance, with webinars, you typically want to email people up to 4 times an invitation to let them know about your upcoming webinar for the highest number of participants to actually register. On social media, you can have a blog post that you link to, 4 to 5 different times over the course of 3 to 4 weeks, because different people will see it at different times, and you can use different images or videos to help promote it. Okay, next slide. So in your emails, another thing you can try is don't just send a plain text email, but include something that really captures people's attention and will make them want to go and read more. So I always suggest for every single advisor that we work with that they should set up a weekly email drip campaign and segment people into different lists. So you absolutely want to have one segment for current clients and another segment for prospects. But you can even get way more granular. You can segment your current clients into those who live in a specific geographic area, or those who are already retired versus pre-retirees, or those who work at ExxonMobil, a specific company. And then once you've got them segmented like that, try a weekly drip campaign that includes visuals. Visuals will drastically increase your open rates. And you can see here in the little title or the subject line, having the word infographic in brackets also is a great strategy to get people to want to click it and open it rather than just putting your normal subject line. Same thing with video. If you're going to include a video in an email, make sure you put the word video in the subject line so people know. Now, one tip, everybody remember this, do not actually try to embed the video as an attachment or in the email. What you want to do is upload the video to YouTube or Vimeo or some other hosting service. I like YouTube because it's the second largest search engine out there, so you're going to get an extra bang for your buck. But upload the video and then create a snapshot. So take a screenshot from a still of the video. That's what you see here, this still from Aaron Klein from Riskalyze. Put a play button over it, and then you include that screenshot in your email, and when somebody goes to click on that picture, it's going to open up the video at YouTube or at Vimeo. So it's a great strategy for getting people to watch the video is to include a screenshot of it so that it looks like you can play it in the app, but really they're just going to click it and it's going to take them to the place where the video is hosted. So let's talk about using images on social media. As TJ mentioned earlier, that stat that our brain only needs 1/10 of a second to understand or begin to understand an image, whereas reading 200 to 250 words takes an average of 60 seconds. We are also all getting a lot lazier with how much we will read before we get bored of something. A lot of research is pointing to the fact that because of the advent of platforms like social media, especially ones like Instagram and Snapchat, and now even TikTok that are all taking off, we're becoming more and more conditioned to pay more attention to visuals. So that doesn't mean that there's not a place out there for long form blog content, but in order to get people to read those longer form pieces, having a really fascinating image to go with it can go a long way. So this is a great example. Last month, when there was a lot of curiosity about the PPP loans, I shouldn't say curiosity, a lot of people that were confused and they didn't know what the deadlines were and who qualified. The SBA put out a great infographic that talked about what you needed to know, what lenders were going to be looking for, all of the information about the forgiveness of the loan. And so here's an example of an advisor, Bobby Dean, who she linked to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and she, didn't just link to it though to say, here's all the information you need. She took some screenshots of the infographic and uploaded it into her social media. So that is another great tactic. A lot of people get nervous about resharing images if they're not the owner of the image, but as long as you're giving credit for where you got it from, where you sourced it from, it's a lot easier to do, right? So you take a screenshot of the infographic, you could upload it into your social post and then still include the link. So here you see home.treasury.gov. You do both of those things and you're going to get a lot more people engaging with that social media post than if you were to just include the link. A lot of people are asking, I'm just going to answer this question, how do you make a picture, a link in an email? Depending on the email platform that you're using, almost all of them have a capability where you will upload a picture, and then there's a hyperlink button. So once the picture is uploaded, you hyperlink the picture. And when I open up our Lead Pilot email software here at the end of this, for anyone who wants to stay on, I can show you how to do that there. And the way that it's set up in our system will be familiar pretty much no matter what system you're using. So it'll be helpful to those of you who want to stay on and watch that. Here's another great example. If you're uploading posts to social media and scheduling them in advance, the good platforms out there like Hootsuite, our Lead Pilot platform, they allow you to change the image that will be shared when you share it on social media. So you can create these really beautiful, interesting images to go along with the post so that when it's shared in someone's feed, the image will capture the eye before even the text, right? So this example from the financial gym, you could read all that text, but where at the bottom it says 4 financial moves to make before investing during COVID, and you start to see like, okay, they're going to talk about you need to have emergency savings, you don't want consumer debt. You are going to be much more attracted to that image than you are to all of that text. So you can customize the image that will be shared instead of just relying on whatever is auto-populated. And every single social media platform allows you to change the image, as well as the social sharing platforms themselves. So when you're writing your blog post, the same rules apply. You don't want to just have a really long form piece of content that's all text. You want to break that text up. So this is an example from Kyle Moore at Corey Hill Advisors. He has a blog post on Can Capital Gains push me into a higher tax bracket? And you can see here he has embedded a chart from Michael Kitcey's blog that talks about the historical top marginal tax rates for ordinary income, capital gains, and qualified dividends. So this is not a chart he created. He's using a chart from another source and linking to that source in his article and giving credit to him and also creating a backlink. And those backlinks are also really important because that allows the person to go check out the original source if they are interested. So a lot of times the asset manager you're working with will have charts you can use. Again, if you're using a service like Lead Pilot, we have lots of infographics, charts, videos you can use. You can also make your own using that service that TJ mentioned earlier, Canva, C-A-N-V-A, but break up your blog posts with images. And if you take the time to do it when you first write the blog post, the really great thing is you can then use those images to promote the post on social media, right? So when Kyle goes to share this, he could share this image that you see here, this chart, to promote that blog post. Again, making sure he cites Michael Kitcey's and tags him in his blog post to say where that source of that picture is from. If you're looking for help, if you're like, I don't have time to create all of this, to create blogs that have all the images and everything for me, again, at the end of today's session, I'll be talking more about Lead Pilot if you want to stay on and how we include that in the platform for you. But again, these are different places you can go to find images. This is another great example from Potomac Fund. They write really great blog posts, and BuzzSumo actually analyzed over 1 million articles, and they found that articles that have an image every 100 words or so get 2 times the social media shares as articles with fewer images. So again, really, really great to include images. It helps us retain the message. And what I wanted to show you here was that you don't need to get super complicated in creating charts. So in this example, you can see one of the things that they do in the images in their posts is they just take a black and white photo or a unsplash photo. Unsplash is another place you can get royalty-free images, and they put a quote over it using a tool like Canva. So at the top there, that first, we prefer to use the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average, that quote in there. They're just taking an image and putting a quote over it. But when they go to share this on social media, they can use that historical image with the quote over it as a way to promote the post. So that is definitely a best strategy when you're thinking about how to get more shares to your content, how to build more backlinks, and how to make the content more engaging. So GIFs or Gifs, everybody has their own way that they say it. You can use these on social media, and they auto loop, which is really great because look at how much more captivating it is. If you were scrolling through your feed right now and saw this moving image, it makes you stop and want to pay attention. So this is an infographic, again, from the Lead Pilot Library of the bull and bear markets, a timeline. And rather than just sharing it here, I've created a GIF. So you can create images on auto loop that will be much more captivating on social media. There's great tools out there where you can make your own GIFs. You can also, use GIFs right off of your phone or those that are already included in Twitter. But again, the whole idea is that it's going to catch your eye because it's a moving image. LinkedIn, even now, you can't use necessarily GIFs on LinkedIn, but those of you who are on LinkedIn a lot and you're sourcing a lot of leads there of working professionals, if you record a video, so you can use a free service like Loom, L-O-O-M, and if you record a free video, you can actually, as long as it's under 15 seconds, upload it to LinkedIn and it will auto loop. So let's say you launch a YouTube channel and you want to show everybody your YouTube channel and get them to subscribe. You could take a quick video, screen share using GoToWebinar, Loom, Zoom, whatever it is, of recording your screen, showing them your YouTube channel, and clicking the subscribe button. Keep it under 15 seconds, upload it to LinkedIn, and now it will auto loop on the platform. A lot of you I know that I have talked to are really, really interested in webinars right now. So at the bottom of this slide deck too, on this page, you can see where I wrote source, how to use webinars to generate leads for your advisory business. That's a great resource. Amanda will put it in the chat for all of you right now, but there is a strategy that goes into getting people to sign up. There's a strategy in dripping on them after the fact to convert the most number of leads. One of the best things you can do is to embed the video replay from the webinar into your blog post and then also embed the slide deck. So a lot of you have been asking, will we get the slides from today? Will we get the video replay? Yes, we can give you both. But what we also do to make it really easy on ourselves is just embed all of that into a blog post. So after every webinar we do at 20/10 on our blog, we'll create a replay of the main points we covered, and we will upload the slide deck. It's actually really easy to do if you create your slide deck and then upload it into something called SlideShare. So SlideShare is a free place online. It's owned by LinkedIn where anyone can upload slide decks. And then what's great is they give you an embed feature where you can embed it right into your website or blog. So you can see here in this example, anyone could click through those 44 slides and read all about what that presentation was all about. So that is a really great way if you're hosting webinars to get the information to everybody post-event, but also to capture even more people in the months after the webinar has been over.
That's some really great stuff, Samantha. I'm personally team Gifs, not GIFs, so I just want to put that out there for the audience. And again, just want to give everyone a reminder, we will be sending out, the slides and the video recording following this. So next, I just want to quickly make you think back on one of the earlier slides comparing, it was an advisor website with a bunch of text versus the website with visuals on how they can be the CFO of your family, Allison Wealth Management. So I kind of want to shift this comparison to kind of the materials that you provide. So do these look like some of the documents you tend to give your clients? I know personally these types of financial statements, these balance sheets, advanced reports, these are the type of takeaways family members of mine receive from their financial advisor. Not to say these aren't helpful, because they absolutely are. A ton of great content in these, really detailed, but I think there's a more visually compelling way to create and share these. And because we are showing it to a client in a way that engages them visually, so if you compare these both, we can start to uncover things that they might not have told us originally. So when the consumer is actually engaged with their asset map, that this is an asset map here on the right, they take responsibility for it. They can correct it. You can print it out, or even write on marker digitally. We start to hear things like, I really don't have much insurance, do I? Or I don't have much saved up for retirement, excuse me. So, you know, it's kind of funny that I mentioned this now, but most of our clients see this as a financial spring cleaning. So we're in spring, they see this as a spring cleaning for them. And we're the first people to go into their, you know, financial closet. We'll say, pull everything out, throw it on the bed and sort it out and start to see what's in style, what still fits, you know, what you need more of, even what they might have been hiding or they had within another advisor. So, you know, quickly, we both, Samantha and I, are going to jump into our respective platforms and kind of show you how to use these tools to prospect, but also provide a more engaging, a visual experience to your clients. So let me just switch out here.
And while you're doing that, some people have been asking if we can show how to put AssetMap, some of the tools on landing pages. So stick around. After TJ shows some more about AssetMap itself, I'm going to pull up Lead Pilot and 20/10 and show you how you can actually add the AssetMap discovery button and video right to your pages to make it really easy to capture people.
Yeah, that's perfect, Samantha. So quickly, I just jumped into my account of AssetMap. What I first want to quickly touch on is discovery. So what discovery is a really great prospecting tool. I'm going to open it up in another browser actually. So it's a link, that, you know, if you're an AssetMap subscriber, you copy and paste that link. You can start discovery. You can add clients right here, or you can share with prospects. So you can use it kind of like Samantha mentioned as a button on your homepage of your website. One of the best ways we actually see it is by sharing it with a client or prospect before they come in for a meeting. That way you can easily prepare an asset map for them using the financial information they just provided. So it's up to date, and you're able to give them that hard copy, that takeaway right in person for a meeting, or now digitally, you're able to give them that one pager over a Zoom meeting or a GoTo meeting, all of that. So let me quickly walk you through what it would look like if I were a client. So TJ Hill, TJ.com, I am not a robot. Maybe I am a robot. All right,
like
so it does really. And you know, this was all created with the visual aspect in mind. So our CEO and founder, Adam Holt, he's a very creative person. I'll get to more of that in a little bit, but everything was created with the design aspect in mind. So if I'm saying a little bit about myself, TJ Hill, male, just turned the big 3-0. You can continue adding, yeah. Actually, Samantha was there for my 30th. We presented at a conference. Anyway, so you can continue to add people to that household. So if I had a spouse or someone else affiliated with My Financials, you could continue to add them here. But for this sake, we'll just continue. Let's get an idea of your financial picture. Let's check income, real estate properties. Obviously student loans, going to Penn State, banking, insurance, investments. So we'll just check those in this example. And then I just want to quick up, say I'm a teacher, type of income, employment, description, teacher salary, and I make, you know, hopefully like more than this, because teachers deserve the world. My mom was a teacher, so done. That's the only one I'm going to add for now. I'll show you a sample household, you know, with more of this spelled out. So continue. What else is on my mind? So I'm obviously concerned about retirement planning, caring for a parent, maybe they're getting up there in age, saving for a child's college education, charity, obviously that's huge and very important right now. Save for major purchases. You know, all these are very relevant, but make sure that, you know, a client can choose and prioritize what they're interested in. Anything else on my mind? You know, ideally a client or prospect adds some more information here, but we'll hit all done. Congrats. So, I've completed the discovery link. The advisor gets an email to get a notification in AssetMap, and a household is actually created within AssetMap with this information. So going back to the advisor, so I'm the advisor role again, go back to the household index. So this Hill household, TJ Hill, was created a few seconds ago. So it's pretty instantaneous. I just got the notification on my phone, and then I'm able to see all the household details. Like really cool stuff here in a visual way. All right, so this is kind of not completely filled out AssetMap there. I'll show you a more, not complex one, but more filled out one. But what AssetMap does too is kind of adds these other boxes where, it adds $1 here. So these are potential conversation starters with a client or a prospect. Parental care fund, they said that they did care for aging parents, but maybe they don't have a care fund. That's a conversation topic. But so quickly, I want to pull up a more complex household, and then just quickly run through why it's laid out the way it is. All right, so I'm opening this household. Again, I would just want to mention that, our CEO and founder, Adam Holt, he was very intentional behind every aspect of the layout and the design of AssetMap. He was a financial advisor. He's a very creative one, albeit with a need to be able to quickly and visually deliver financial advice that clients go, wow, this makes sense. I can take this away. I can show children. This would make sense to them. It's really digestible for anyone. And, what they can do, again, is, fill out their financial map. If you give them a hard copy, they can stick it to their fridge. The client should always come first. And that's why they are literally in the center here of the AssetMap. And their family members are up here at the top. So anyone involved financially with the household member is shown at the top because they're ultimately trying to, as an advisor, you're ultimately trying to serve all these clients so that they can achieve their financial dreams. So quickly, you'll notice client assets are on the left. There's a little legend here too. Everything's color coordinated. Client assets are, again, on the left. Same thing for the spouse on the right. Joint assets and liabilities are located below the client and their partner. Insurance assets are listed at the top as kind of an umbrella protecting all their assets and the client and their stuff. You can run also needs analysis using target maps. I'm not going to get into that for the sake of time, but that's target maps. You can run reports, you can look at cash flows, and you can import data from integrations with Riskalyze, Orion, Redtail, Money Guide Pro, TD Veo, and Black Diamond. We're working on a few more right now, so real exciting stuff, but that's a very quick, very high level run through of AssetMap. And right now I'm going to turn it over to Samantha so that she can show us what they've been working on. So I'm going to change presenter to
Thank you.
Samantha.
Such an awesome tool, and I will make mine quick because I know we're coming up at the top here. So you should be able to see the 20/10 website, 20/10.com. So we have two different tools that I'm going to just briefly highlight today. The 20/10 platform is where you will find our website platform and customizable content and landing pages. So if you create a website with 20/10 or you have us create it for you, we actually offer both options. So we have a build it yourself option where you can create a website like you would via Squarespace, Wix, or Weebly without any setup fees, and then you just pay the monthly fee. And you still get access to this beautiful back end and all of the content in the library. Or you can work with our team to create the site for you. So in either case, once you have a site, it's very, very easy to edit. Everything is very drag and drop. You can add new pages with just the click of a button. You can add new blog posts. You have these pre-made landing pages that are gorgeous and allow you to direct traffic to a specific page to capture those folks. And again, everything is drag and drop. So if we wanted to, start adding a new section in here, we would just type and go, right? So it's very, very easy to format things and make everything look great. Now, I've been talking a lot about Lead Pilot because what we have found is that a lot of advisors, there's multiple advisors at a firm, they don't all need their own website, but it's difficult for them to put out custom communication, visuals, all this great information, and they don't want to direct them back to the firm's website because it doesn't always align with the overall firm's goals. And so we've created a new tool called Lead Pilot. So if you go to leadpilot.io, it is website agnostic, meaning that you do not need to have a 20/10 website to use it. You actually don't have to have a website at all in order to use it. So every individual advisor gets their own template set up and their own branded landing pages. So all of the content that is put out directs people back to these beautiful branded landing pages, which you can download some samples of, that allows them to capture traffic. So I just put up a quick example here. So in this example, let's say you wanted to direct people to complete the AssetMap discovery. You can see here, it's got the Summers Finance logo. It says it's time to build your asset map. There's this big, beautiful picture at the top. We have Mark Summers' name. We have the Build Your Asset Map button here. We also have the button here and some information. Creating that is so simple in the tool. And all of this that I'm showing you is actually created right here in Lead Pilot. So I already put an example of it together. It took me about a minute and a half. But I came in, I hit compose. You can see here, you can start editing. You can replace the image very easily. So you can take a screenshot from your asset map or use one of the ones that they give you. You can, you could send this out to a particular person. It's time to build your asset map, Samantha, and send this email to just one person, inviting them to build their asset map. All of this is very simple to do. Somebody asked me earlier in an email, how do you create an image and then link to it, right? So this is just an image that I've uploaded. So I came in here, I click insert image, I drop the image in. So let me just show you again another example here. So let's say I wanted to do this asset map here. I wanted to drop it in. And then once you've added your image, you just click this insert link button and you add in the URL. So like TJ showed you before, you get that URL for your own discovery that you can link to. So here we can see we can unlink this. We can position it all different ways. Once we've created any page in the Lead Pilot platform, we can now share it. So you can share it directly to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, as well as your email, or you can schedule it for later. And again, this is for individual advisors. It's not for the firm. So if you have one advisory firm with 10 advisors, they would each have their own branded landing page that reinforces them as the advisor. Let's say your firm has a podcast. The podcast might have a page with the podcast logo and the name of the podcast up here. Or maybe you have a specific robo-advisor that you're trying to promote, and so you want to have a page for that. Every thing you could think of under the sun, you could build out these landing pages for, and you're only having to create the template once in the beginning, and then everything is disseminated on those landing pages. So let's say I want to schedule this for later, and I don't want to send it to all of my contacts. I just want to send it to my golfing buddies because I have a list for that. You can customize your email. You can, again, choose different leads. You can choose different segments. Maybe I only want to send it to people in Orlando, whatever it is that you want to do. That you can choose the subject line. You can edit anything that it says in here, and then you can also preview what it will look like both on a desktop as well as a mobile. So it looks beautiful. You don't need to be a designer to get going, and then you can schedule it out. Now it's scheduled, and the beautiful part of all of this is with Lead Pilot that once you've scheduled everything and it is posting, it is going to be so easy to get really robust, detailed analytics on the information that you have pulled. So let's say you share this, you're going to be able to see everybody who clicks on this particular page via Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, how many people filled out your forms from this page, how many people shared it. It's really, really easy to track all of that. Now,
yeah, that looks awesome.
Yep, and this all comes into this dashboard here, where you can see, again, how many landing page impressions did you get, how many new leads did it drive, what kind of email engagement did you get, and then my favorite part, as the contacts come into the page, you're going to get a list of all of them. They're going to come in here, and we're going to assign a lead score to them that ranges from 0 to 100, depending upon how active they are in clicking on the content, opening it, reading it. You can also then come in here and look at a history of what that particular person has been reading. So we can see that It's Time to Build Your Asset Map was just delivered to Samantha, but she hasn't opened it yet, right? So you can get a really great sense of what that person is interested in. You also, let's say Samantha signed up on your landing page, but all you have is her name and her email. If you click this Profile Insights button, it will unlock for you information that we can find publicly on the web about that person. So where do they live? How old are they? Are they male or female? What's their website, their LinkedIn? Where have they worked? So much information. So between what they're reading and what they're interested in, where they've worked, how old they are, you get so much more intel to be able to make a warm introduction that first time. Now, Lead Pilot is different than other platforms in that we're combining 4 tools in one, right? So in Lead Pilot, let me just open this up, we'll make it easier. Here we go. It's email marketing, social media scheduling, landing pages, and then the content itself all in one platform. So instead of having to use MailChimp for email and lead pages for landing pages, and then write your own content or buy content, it's all in one. All of the content that we provide in the Lead Pilot library, one of my favorite parts, is completely customizable. So one of the questions that came in is, if I'm using the content in here, do I need to source Lead Pilot as the author? You do not, because you are able to edit it. So you can use our editorial pieces, you can use our infographic pieces, which again are all, pre-made completely for you, or you can use the videos that I showed a clip of earlier. But in any of these pieces, you can completely customize them to your audience. So back when like the stimulus checks were all, coming out, rather than, let's see if I can find that one, rather than just sharing, stimulus checks are coming, let's say you're based in Austin, Texas. You can change that to stimulus checks are coming for Austin, Texas. Here's what you need to know. When you go to share that on social media, you're going to get so many more likes, comments, shares, engagement, because it's hyper specific to your audience. So we're already at the top of the hour. I know there's so many questions about this tool. Everyone's excited. I'm so excited. It's such a great tool. If you go to leadpilot.io and you sign up, it will say that the trial is 7 days, but we are automatically making all of the free trials 30 days. So even though it does not say that on the page, our team has created it so that it will automatically be a 30-day free trial. If you want to schedule a one-on-one call, this is the button to do that. And you can chat with someone at our team or on our team. And we are also right now through June 1st offering 50% off the pricing. So an account, instead of being $249 a month, is half that if you're paying, annually. And then if you're paying month to month, it's half of the 300, so 150. And that is good through June 1st for sign up. So definitely connect with someone on our team through that schedule a one-on-one demo to get that coupon added. But if you sign up again now, after this webinar, you'll automatically get the 30 days free. You do need to enter a credit card because you're seeing all the content and everything, but your credit card will not be charged for 30 days. And I feel like I've been talking really fast, so thank you for bearing with me. And thank you, TJ, for having me join you today.
Yeah, of course.
I know we have questions, so for anyone who wants to stick around, we can answer some of the top questions.
Absolutely. Terry, any questions that came through that you want to mention? if you're
being able to get back to most of the folks who have who sent anything in. Anything else, there's some that we'll answer with an email follow-up.
Awesome. Samantha, can you jump to the presentation again? Just go to the get in touch. Yeah, so again, we can get back to your questions, but if you want to email us, we're happy to respond pretty quickly at hello@assetmap.com. There's our phone number, and we've kind of quietly launched this AssetMap.store. So it's an online store. The cost of shipping and tax is included in the pricing, so they're all flat prices, $20, $25. I personally just got shipped a crew neck sweater and a beanie. So hopefully those arrive shortly, but you know, that's definitely something if you want to support AssetMap, you know, if you're a big fan, if you're a big advocate. I know I've been wearing AssetMap gear, it seems, for like the past 2 months. So that's just an option if you're interested in that. So wanted to throw that out there.
Awesome. And this is the contact information for the 20 over 10 team, and everyone will get the slide deck, so we'll include that for all of you there too.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I guess we'll sign off. I just want to thank everyone for attending. Apologies again for these initial technical difficulties, but we'll be sending out the recording, any answers to your questions, you know, all the content related to this webinar. So thanks, Samantha.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week.